Hurdle's got a book out. This isn't like the start of a joke. This is a real thing. Clint's got a book out. It's called Huralisms. And that's because a lot of people in Clint's orbit for a long time referred to some of his better pet sayings as huralisms. He's got a million of them. My own favorite, always and forever, will be this. If it's in there, it's in there. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and/or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 12, Twins 1 yesterday in Fort Myers, Florida. Jack Suwinski led off for the second game in a row, and he'd go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs, a walk, a couple of steals, one of third base, and there was a strikeout in there too. That's a pretty encouraging little thing for Jack within all of the standard asterisks that are attached to all things spring training. What Jack wants to do, what Jack told me when I was down there a few days ago, that his goal is for this spring is to have just better quality at bats. He wasn't going to worry about whether or not the ball would land somewhere in the grass, whether or not he'd get credit for a hit or any other statistics. He wanted to have really good overall at bats. And you know what that means. It means the kind of at bats that he hasn't had for the most part over the past year and change. Jack, in a way, can drive you nuts because he's a dream teammate. He's a guy who's focused on the front of the jersey, just how he rolls. He's got legit power, evidenced by those 26 home runs he hit a couple of years ago. He's got legitimate speed. He can catch the ball. He can throw the ball. What he can't do consistently enough is get the bat onto the ball. And to that end, what he wants to do, what he's focused on more than anything, is simple pitch recognition and reaction. Is that the pitch that he really wants to swing at? If he thinks he can hit it, if he thinks he can make contact with it, what would that look like? Would it just be a ground out to second? Or could he really take the kind of swing that he'd want to take at that pitch to make the best use of that power? And within all of this, how would you achieve this without becoming, some Andy Haynes carryover where you're just watching strike 3 go by because you didn't really think much of any of those first 3 pitches that you saw? We saw Jack do a lot of that too. This was what Jack had to say on the subject yesterday in Fort Myers to Greg McAfee, our beat writer from DK Pittsburgh Sports, who's down there.
The quality of the swing means more to me than result itself. Just because, that ball can be hit hard and someone can catch it, and it can easily be like a 0 for day. Yeah. But I think the good feelings and the quality of bats are a little bit more sustainable, and just not looking at numbers, stuff like that. So it's not marked yet.
And you have to try. You have to give him a chance. You can't say, well, he's past his mid-20s. He's no longer a prospect. We're giving up on him. Of all the critical stances that I've taken as it relates to this management and the way they have, I don't even want to say they've handled the corner outfield position because they haven't even done that. They haven't done anything other than adding Tommy Pham. The one thing I've never taken away from their list of options, at least as far as I see it, for whatever that's worth, is that Jack has to have a door open. He just does. Why? Cue the hurdalism. He's done it. That doesn't mean it's always available to you in the future because you've done it once. If you've done a 26 home run, 74 RBI season once at the highest level of the game, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. begging to be pried out somehow. And the only way that it can be pried out is to play. This was what Derek Shelton had to say on the subject of Suwinski yesterday.
100%. I mean, those numbers in and of themselves, you don't see guys do. You don't see a lot of guys that hit 26 homers in a season. And that's where the consistency comes into play. But also, we know it's in there. Not only that yesterday, but he made a sliding catch in foul territory. So there's a lot of positive things there. It's just we kind of got to bring it all together.
It's the right approach. It's the right attitude. And my goodness, can you imagine the difference that a productive, powerful Suwinski would make in everything that we're talking about related to this lineup? Everything. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Nelson, who says, DK, in terms of Bob Nutting pulling the plug on management in 2025, will it have anything to do with wins and losses, or is it about dollars and cents? So many, by the way, of the questions that come this way are about Nutting, ownership, finances, and then more Nutting, and then more of all of that. That's just how it goes. I could show you statistics and rankings and talk about other background information that I've got as it relates to how badly this general manager has bungled things at the general manager level, purely at the general manager level, having nothing to do with the size of his payroll or the commitment of ownership. Wouldn't matter. No one would, it would entertain you for maybe a day. And otherwise go in one ear and out the other, and whatever would come out the other would be nutting something. Don't misunderstand. This is not a good owner, and it is the wrong owner for this franchise. And the Pittsburgh Pirates as an institution would be way, 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 way better off if Nutting were to sell the team. But it makes me cringy for the entire conversation to constantly get condensed to just that, as if there's nothing else. That said, I have ample cause to believe that if the Pirates don't have a good season, and I don't know what the measuring stick is for that. We can all have our own. I have not heard one from them. I've not heard them say, gotta make the playoffs, gotta win, 90 games, gotta be at 82 just to have the first winning season under this management. I have no idea. It's never been shared with me, if it even exists. But I do know that the way Nutting thinks and operates, he puts the financial parameters into place first, and then really, truly, genuinely hopes that they win games. Believe it or not, both things are possible. And I can tell you that on a professional/personal level, however you'd care to characterize it, being around him, I've never seen him happier than he was in 2013 to 2015. Now, the cynic would also point out there that those were his three most profitable seasons as well. But when it came to the winning and the celebrations and there had to be some feeling of vindication. There had to be something there. That part's real, even if only because it takes, and it did at the time, some of the heat off. I think it'd be really, really, really easy for Pittsburghers to forget that in those 3 seasons, there really wasn't anybody much going after the owner, at least not anybody who knew what they were talking about, because the Pirates did have their 3 highest payrolls. The Pirates did go out and get players at the trade deadline, added players, added payroll. And in fact, it wasn't until the offseason after the 2015 season, the 98 win year, that the first signs of complaining about nutting became a thing again. And most of that was misunderstood. You had some going after him because he didn't sign Jay Happ. The Pirates never had a chance at Jay Happ. Happ's representatives were using the Pirates to drive up the price from the Blue Jays, who were owned by a phone company, who were always going to be able to and eager to outbid the Pirates for this player. They ended up paying a lot of money for Happ. At the time, it was certainly a lot of money, $13 million a year. But if the Pirates had said 14, then the phone company says 15, and you could just do that forever. Happ was never an option to be kept. And the rest of the moves, the mistakes that were made that offseason were 100% on Neil Huntington. Trading Neil Walker for a month and a half of John Neese, that's not done at the owner level. Pirates actually added payroll in that deal. Whatever, you get the idea. We could do the nutting stuff, and I'll do it. You can tell. I mean, I take the questions, and I try my best with them. But I guess my only real point today is that, yeah, obviously, he's a lousy owner, wrong owner for this team, but there's just a lot more to this. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these on Monday.